there were a number of missed calls in my life that actually led to opportunities. And you always have to keep your radar open to the fact that there are things in play that you haven't even seen yet that will reveal themselves to you. You just have to be receptive to it.
It all starts with this girl giving me the clap.
The clap.
That's where it started.
You were saved by a social disease.
It all starts with that.
All right, so tell.
This girl gave me the clap. I dated her for 5 years. She was my girlfriend. She slept with my best friend, and then she gave me the clap. I remember going to the doctor, and he was like, "Yo, she's a hoe." By the way, this is
Is that a medical term?
No, this is. He used the more formal RE. I don't know if you can say it on WHORE. I don't know if you can say that on.
Whore.
Yeah. Like an idiot, I just spelled it. Yeah. Like you can't spell it. So he was like, "Your girlfriend's a whore," and I was like, "What?" By the way, this is when you thought doctors were like older. He's probably just 27 years old.
Yeah.
Like he's just a kid,
dude.
And he was like, she's a whore, man. And he said, I go, no, you got that wrong. He goes, let me ask you a question. When you go to a bar, do you and your junk split up to cover more territory? And I was like, excuse me? And he goes, do you? And I said, no. And he goes, then I'm telling you right now, if you're telling me you haven't slept with anyone else, just her, she gave it to you. She's a whore. She's sleeping around. That's how you get it. You just sleep around.
Yeah.
Oh my
And I was like, that's impossible. I want the test. And he was like, I can just give you the medicine. You don't need the test. And I went, no, I don't. I must not have it. She's not a whore. And he's like, all right, I'll give you the test. Q-tip.
Yep.
Yes.
I remember saying, brace yourself. And I held on to the thing, and he did it. And I was like, she's a whore. She's a whore. And then I went to her, and I confronted her. And I said, yo, I have the clap. You gave it to me. And she's like, no, that's impossible. And then I said what the doctor said. Let me tell you something. When I go to the bar, me and my junk don't split up to cover more territory, okay? And so, but if that girl hadn't done that, because I told that girl I wanted to be a comedian. I laid in bed the morning of the Miami-Florida State game, and I said, I think I want to be a comedian. Because right after Russia, I'd gone to Europe, and I backpacked, and I ran into a group called The State. I ran into them in Greece. Yeah. We all partied in Greece, and I met them, and I said, how do I get into comedy? And David Wayne said, just write all the time, write down jokes. Anything funny, write it down. And that whole summer, I said, I was funny, traveling, everyone liked me, thought I could make people laugh, and I was like, I'm going to be a comedian. Came home, first week back, have sex with her, laying in bed, Florida State-Miami game. I say, I think I want to be a comedian. And she was an actress, still is. And she was like...
Not somebody we would know, is it?
No.
Okay. Regional theater, stuff like that? Yeah. And so
that's what we're calling porn these days.
She said, she goes, oh, honey, you're stupid funny. You're not smart funny. To be a comedian, you have to be smart funny, and you're stupid funny.
Wow.
So don't, you cannot be.
And this is from the whore.
This is from the whore. Oh. And so I was like, oh, okay. Never tell anyone your dreams. I get the clap. I then break up with her over the period of you know how those breakups go over 6 months. Yeah. And then I start dating this girl who's, by the way, I love her, but just an oblivious idiot. Yeah. Like I told her I want to be a comedian. She's like, you should do it. Like just invest everything in it. Why wouldn't you? Right? Oh my God. And I just ran into her last week in wherever I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she's like, I'm so happy you followed your dreams. And I was like, I am so glad you did not see the pitfalls in life that everyone else sees. Yeah. Like, she was just like, do it. Why wouldn't you? I didn't want to be a shot girl. And I was like,
dream big.
Oh, she went to New York to be a model. And, she's attractive, but she's not like a model.
Yeah.
But I remember
not a New York model.
And she just walked in and she's like, I want to be a model. And I was like, man, I wish everyone had more of that.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that girl to just give me blind confidence.
Yeah.
That I don't think. I mean, by the way, my first whole year of stand-up, I did not know. I was just doing all the jokes like Angry Sanchez, or I didn't have comedy. I wasn't doing comedy.
Yeah, you had little segments, but
yeah.
You know that's.
And then Will Smith discovers me, and I'm like, I'm so glad I did this. And then you move to LA, you get a TV show, and then
that's how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for not knowing about life.
And now you understand the weird science behind comedy. The efficiency of words and all that.
Oh yeah. I get blown away. I get blown away sometimes by just that, those little coincidences in life that send you on a path and then you go, God, what if I hadn't done that?
When I did stand-up, I learned, and I did it for about 10, 11 years, and I enjoyed it, but I knew it was actually radio that stepped in out of the blue and became a thing that I just loved because it allowed me to do comedy in a different way. But the refining and there's a joy in that with stand-up and having things fail and having, if you can have fun on stage regardless, even if something's tanking and you're enjoying, Carson was an expert at having fun with tanking.
You got to be cool with the silence.
Right.
I went up one night in the store and I was just trying to write.
Yeah.
And I was bombing. And then someone just goes, talk about Anne Frank. in the audience, and then I go, I used to think Helen Keller and Anne Frank were the same person, and it kills, right? Yeah. But I never knew. I didn't know that was funny. I thought I was an idiot, and then they laugh, and I was like, yeah, I found out the Anne Frank house, they're not, and everyone's like, what? I was like, yeah, you didn't, and I tell the story, and it's very simple. I thought they were like, you want to go to the Anne Frank house? I was like, yeah, we'll get a bag of weed and get high and we'll laugh, and they're like, laugh? I go, yeah, put a plunger in her toilet, chuck it up. And they're like, what? And they're like, I don't think you can go to her bathroom. And they're like, you can see the closet they kept her in. I was like, they kept her in a closet?
Oh, dude.
I swear to God. And they're like, yeah, the Nazis are looking for her. I go, the Nazis are looking for her? You're telling me, I go, how many times did this chick roll snake eyes? Can't see, can't hear, can't talk, locked in the closet, Nazis are looking for her. And so I tell this on stage. I get off stage and Rogan's like, please tell me that's in your act. I go, no. I was like, dead serious. I go, I'm being dead serious. And he goes, that is the funniest thing. He goes, are you being serious right now? I go, I'm being dead serious. He goes, when did you find out they're not the same person? I go, at the Anne Frank house. We're high as crap. I'm telling Helen Keller jokes. And I'm like, she had a dog, right? And they're like, what? I was like, to my friends, I'm like, oh, he ran away. And they're like, how do you know so much about Anne Frank? I was like, well, you would too if her name was. And this lady goes, are you telling Helen Keller jokes? And I'm like, oh my God. So then I take that story, I tell it on Comedy Central with Ari Shaffir on This Is Not Happening, and then all of a sudden you got a bit. But if you're not willing to fail or get the clap, so if you have the clap right, I think what we're saying is, if you're listening and you have a venereal disease, this might be the best day of your life.
Look at it as a plus.
Success is just around the corner.
Success is just around the corner.